the new template codes for transfiguration to be activated within these newly activated strands of DNA within every man, woman, and child. And we now have a new divine body template that is being incorporated by our I am presence into the core of purity in every electron of our earthly bodies. So we are in an entirely different place now, and we can see this awakening taking place in the outer world. So what we are being asked to do is to remember and to help inform people of the slight adjustment that needs to be made in order for us to, again, receive the infinite flow of God's abundance. One of the key factors of that, which is difficult and sometimes people resist, and I know I certainly did when I learned about it decades ago, was the concept of tithing. And now that was never very effective for me, because every time I was asked to tithe, it was usually to a religious organization. And I was inflicted with a lot of guilt about why I needed to do that. And tithing needed to be to the church or our source of God, or what we would think of as our spiritual connection to God. And that when we tithe to that, of course, you would feel very guilty expecting anything back in return for that. So I felt it was self-serving and manipulative. But when I was at a place that the beings of light were sharing this information with me, they made it perfectly clear in a way that was just common sense to me. If in fact we have created this situation where all of our money is being spent on sustaining our physical bodies, which God already gave us for free, it's like not giving anything back in appreciation for our gift of life. Now, we can give back in a lot of ways. We can volunteer, we can love, we can assist, we can do, as I said, infinite things that add to the world. But we are in a system where like attracts like. And if we want financial freedom, if we want money in our lives, we need to give away our money. So we can do whatever we can that adds to the light and adds to the harmony of the world. But to increase our financial freedom and move out of this oppressive block to God's infinite flow, we need to start giving away our money to whatever person, place, condition, or thing stimulates your heart and makes your heart sing. Now, to give it to our children so it's not too far out of our reach, that's strings attached. This needs to be absolutely no strings attached. To give it to the gaming tables and the lottery so that we'll expect a big windfall in return, then that's strings attached. It literally needs to be a free will gift of love with the consciousness that this is a gift of love that I am giving back to my Father, Mother, God in appreciation for my gift of life. And the beings of light have said, if we will get into a position of doing that regularly, that if we would give just 10% of what we are bringing in through our income to some organization that we feel confident is adding to the light of the world, or to a situation, it can be myriad things. It can be to animal rights. It can be to human rights. It can be to battered women and children. It can be to help feed the hungry. It can be the music organizations. It can be adding to the light of the world in research and in all different ways. Education, housing, Habitat for Humanity, environmental organizations, whatever you feel the heart call to do, but not because somebody has called you and talked you into it. It needs to be something that you choose that just fills your heart with joy to support. Then you can say, through the full power and truth of your I am presence, This is a gift of love that I am giving back to God in appreciation for my gift of life. And so, because like attracts like, we need to give away money. And the question always comes up, well, how much do you give away to open that flow? Well, the beings of light have said if we can get into a position of giving as little as 10% of our income, through this consciousness, we will receive such a flow of abundance back that we're not going to be able to handle it all. Well, 10% is a lot when we don't have an income or we have a very low income. So I want to share with you a personal experience of mine. I was very skeptical of this when I first learned about it because I felt like it had been abused and I had been manipulated by it in the past. So I decided to begin experimenting with it and saying, what if? And in the beginning, I did what everybody else usually does. I took my money and I paid all my bills. And then whatever was left, I said, okay, what do I want to give this to that just makes my heart sing? And there were lots of places that I chose and that I would distribute it time here and there and around whenever I had some extra money to all of these places. But it was never 10% of my income at that time. And one day in my meditation, I was asked the question, how much do you tip a server that gives you a meal in a restaurant? And my response immediately was 20%. I don't even think twice about that. I think that's fair. And in the United States of America, we tip. I know other countries we don't always tip, but in the United States we do. And I just give 20%. And the response from the company of heaven was, isn't it amazing that you don't think twice about giving someone a 20% tip that brings you a plate of food, and yet you are struggling to give 10% back to God in appreciation for your gift of life? And that was just an epiphany for me. So I said, okay, I'm going to reverse my process. And when I get my money, I'm going to give 10% first. And I will certainly admit to you that there was an adjustment period before I got to the point where that wasn't, I didn't have to manage and pay my bills and juggle my payments for a little while. But after a while, that flow started coming into my life from myriad ways. We don't limit God to say, how could it possibly come? Even on fixed incomes, money can flow back into our life. So I began giving 10%. And after an adjustment period that took a little while, I moved into a flow. And for decades, I have never been in a position where I haven't been able to pay my bills again on time. And so that was proof to me beyond a shadow of a doubt. And the important part about tithing is realizing like attracts like. If we want money in our lives, we need to start giving money away. And once we do that, I'm not saying to start with 10% immediately. Go ahead and experiment a little bit. But when you give money away, don't then stand and wait for a check to come in the mail. And if it doesn't, then you say, well, this isn't working. You need to trust, release and trust, but pay attention to everything. If you go out to lunch and your friend buys you the meal and you thought you were going to buy the meal, accept that as your gift coming back to you. If you have a bill that's less than you thought it was going to be, if your taxes are less than you thought it was going to be, if you needed something and somebody had it to give to you instead of you having to go buy it, that's your money coming back to you. If someone gives you a paperclip, accept this is my flow of abundance. Because it's easy for us to see our money going. We do that all the time. We see it going and going, and then there's not enough. To see that flow coming back, we often ignore it and we don't pay attention. So see that flow coming back into your life and trusting that this is opening the flow to God's infinite abundance. Then from your perspective of whatever you use for your source of income, This doesn't mean that everybody needs to get new jobs. If you are in a mundane job, working long hours by the sweat of the brow just to have food to put on the table, then that is the wrong level of consciousness. But if you are doing the same work and saying, I am doing this job to flood this work, if you're working for a bank, flood every person in the bank, flood the monetary system, flood the violet flame through all the corruption in the economic system, the abuse of power, transform it. No matter what you're doing, do it with love, do it with caring, and you will be using your life force to add to the light of the world. But once you do that and get in the flow of that, new opportunities are going to start presenting themselves to you because you're open and receptive to letting that back in your life. You're not sticking your heels in and feeling like I'm on a fixed income, so there's no way that this will work. God is infinitely creative, I guarantee you and I assure you. And over the decades, I have received millions, probably, of letters sharing success stories of their income and abundance that has opened up in their life that they never even dreamed would be the case. So trust, have faith, and take the tenacity to stand in the face of all adversity. And in addition to that, today, as we prepare for this magnificent retreat series that is organized now through the new world order that we're experiencing, the new earth that we are experiencing now, we will experience and know that we can create the template for this shift. And what we're going to do today, Lorraine, if you're comfortable with that, is to do the invocation. And I have this available. We're going to make it available, Lorraine. Is that true on your program? This will be available. I also have a wonderful booklet that the Beings of Light gave us years ago that we've been distributing for decades, called It Is Time for You to Be Financially Free. And I would like to give that to you as a free ebook. And there is also a link that you can download that when you get to that point, or maybe you've already done that on our website. So what we're going to do through this meditation is to create the template that will help the masses to eliminate poverty consciousness and open to the flow of abundance, utilizing the full divine momentum of this magnificent light that's flowing into the planet during this unprecedented cosmic moment that we are in this weekend.
Thank you, Patricia. That is so beautiful. And your words represent a shift in our consciousness right there. Truly feeling how we can use that life force in appreciation for our Mother, Father, God, and our gift of life. And it's really fun when you think about, we call them love bursts, where we can give to someone who is unexpecting it. And the ripples of love that go out from that is very, very interesting to witness and to feel. So that is a beautiful discussion of really how we can begin to flow with that money. And the flow is the key and a key part in all of it. So thank you for this. And the meditation and invocation, actually, you've got many in your Co-Creating the New Earth book of invocations. And for so many of us listening and watching you, that has been instrumental in our lives and our adjustment to this use of life force for our divine birthright. The I Am Prosperity is so beautiful as well. So for those who are watching this meditation and invocation that Patricia's going to offer will be available here at New Earth One Network in our blog section. And there's a link to Patricia's ebook as well on this view page. So Patricia, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We're ready for this.
You're very welcome. Thank you. And now we'll just center ourselves and just follow me through this visualization that has been given to us by the company of heaven, and our Father, Mother God, and the legions of light are joining us. There is light pouring through the portals from suns beyond suns beyond suns during this weekend. Light from the very heart of our Father, Mother God, the core of creation. So please join me now and go within. Please sit comfortably in your chair with your arms and legs uncrossed and your spine as straight as possible. Rest your hands gently in your lap with your palms facing upward. Breathe in deeply, and as you exhale, let all of the tension of the day just drop away. Feel yourself becoming completely relaxed. Now breathe in deeply again, and as you exhale, feel your I Am presence take full dominion of your physical, etheric, mental, and emotional bodies. Your I Am presence is enveloping you in a force field of invincible protection that will prevent anything from distracting you or interfering with this sacred moment. The buoyant joy of expectancy and enthusiasm is filling your being. Accept and know that your heart flame is the open door for the flow of God's infinite abundance. Now, please follow me through this visualization with the full power of your attention and your divine intentions. This invocation is stated in the first person, so each of us will experience this activity of light tangibly and personally. However, we are simultaneously invoking this light on behalf of every person on earth in perfect alignment with his or her divine plan and the highest good for all concerned. And we begin. I am my I Am presence, and I am one with the I Am presence of every person on earth. As my I Am presence takes full command of my earthly bodies, I begin to hear the still small voice within. I am flooded with light, and my consciousness is raised up. A reactivation and initiation into multi-dimensional awareness is occurring within me now. I am ascending into the very heart of God, and the pre-encoded memories deep within the cellular patterns of my DNA are being activated. These patterns reveal my divine plan, my purpose and reason for being. I am experiencing an awakening, and I begin to remember my divine heritage. I realize that the flow of my Father, Mother God's infinite abundance is my divine birthright. I step across the threshold into the multi-dimensional reality of the new earth. Here I am empowered with even more rarefied frequencies of my divine potential. Moment to moment, this radiant light is awakening within me previously untapped levels of wisdom and divine enlightenment. My I Am presence now lifts me into even higher realms of perfection. In this realm, I easily release and let go of attachments and behavior patterns that do not support my highest good. I release all patterns that reflect poverty consciousness and anything less than God's infinite abundance. I realize this is the moment of my new beginning. I now realize with a new level of clarity and understanding that I have the ability to create prosperity consciousness for myself, and I choose to do so here and now. I deliberately make the heart commitment to transform into light every aspect of my life that is based in poverty consciousness. As this profound truth permeates my being, I am flooded with the golden flame of God's abundance. And I now know I am trustworthy and honest. I am an expression of divine truth. I respond to every situation with true integrity. I am worthy and deserving of God's infinite abundance. And the golden flame floods my being. Now, necessary changes in my life are tangibly manifesting through divine grace and love. As each aspect of my life that needs changing surfaces before me, I love it free and forgive myself for my perceived transgressions of the laws of abundance. The divine power to sustain these changes is continually flowing through me, and from this moment forth, I choose to create a life reflecting my divine birthright of God's infinite abundance, prosperity, and the God supply of all good things. I now focus on the sacred essence of my holy breath. I realize that with every in-breath, I extend in consciousness through my eternal journey into the very heart of my Father, Mother, God, the source of never-ending perfection. And with every out-breath, I magnetize the full momentum of that divine perfection and radiate these blessings to all life evolving on earth. From this higher level of consciousness, I now consecrate and dedicate my life force to be the open door for these sacred gifts of light that will bless me, my loved ones, humanity, the elemental kingdom, and Mother Earth. Beloved Father, Mother God, I ask that you now make me an instrument of your infinite abundance. Through all levels of consciousness, I now release and transmute into light every frequency of vibration and every electron of precious life energy that I have ever misqualified with poverty consciousness. On the holy breath, I inbreathe the violet flame of infinite perfection, pulsating within the heart of God. And I absorb the most powerful frequency of this sacred fire that I am capable of assimilating. On the out-breath, I project this violet flame in, through, and around my earthly bodies, and all of the poverty consciousness surfacing and returning to me to be loved free. The violet flame instantly transmutes the negative thoughts, words, actions, feelings, beliefs, and memories that are blocking the flow of God's infinite abundance. Through the eyes of my I Am presence, I witness my transfiguration taking place as each electron that reflects any form of poverty consciousness enters the violet flame and is instantly transmuted. Cause, core, effect, record, and memory back into the frequencies of God's infinite abundance. With the full power of my I Am presence, I now decree with deep feeling and a true inner knowing, I am a force of the violet flame, more powerful than anything less than God's infinite abundance. I am a force of the violet flame, more powerful than anything less than God's infinite abundance. I am a force of the violet flame, more powerful than anything less than God's abundance. I now command, through the presence of God pulsating in every person's heart flame, that this activity of light be maintained, eternally self-sustained, and increased with every breath I take, until every person belonging to or serving the earth at this time is experiencing the wonders of God's infinite abundance. And so it is. Precious heart, feel this light secured through you and through the atomic and subatomic realms of light, forming planet Earth and all her life. The golden flame of God's eternal abundance and peace is being secured in the core of purity, in every particle and wave of life belonging to or serving beloved Mother Earth at this time. Inhaling and exhaling, breathing in deeply, gently return your consciousness to the room. And when you're ready, you may open your eyes.